Have you ever noticed that in your most exhausted moments, your mind inevitably wanders back to old photographs? There is a strange kind of gravity to the past, especially when the present feels heavy, uncertain, or simply too lonely. Most people do not realize that the act of looking backward is rarely about the past itself. It is a refuge. It is a desperate attempt to find safety in a world that suddenly feels entirely unpredictable. If you have ever found yourself scrolling through an old camera roll late at night, letting the glow of the screen illuminate a life you no longer live, this is for you. Think about what happens in those quiet, solitary hours. The present moment feels unmoored. Perhaps a relationship has ended, a path has disappeared, or you are simply tired from trying to hold everything together. And so, your thumb swipes back a few months, back a few years. You look at the smiles captured in a fraction of a second. You look at the person beside you. You look at a version of yourself who did not yet know the pain that was coming. The past feels infinitely safer than the present because it is already finished. You know the ending. It cannot surprise you, and it cannot hurt you anew. But here is the truth few people want to face. The tighter you hold onto a frozen image, the more intensely you suffer in the present. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that suffering is born from attachment, particularly attachment to what is impermanent. We suffer because we demand that moving water stand still. We take a single beautiful moment, trap it within a frame, and then grieve because our actual living life continues to move, age, and change. The photograph is a trap of our own making. It tricks the mind into believing that the peace we felt then is forever locked away in the past, unavailable to us here and now. Imagine a beautiful autumn leaf resting gently on the surface of a moving river. It is vibrant, perfect, and peaceful. But if you try to reach into the water and grip the leaf tightly in your fist to keep it forever, you crush it. The beauty of the leaf was in its passing. The beauty of the river is in its flowing. Life is meant to be experienced in motion, not held captive in a clenched hand. When you lie in bed staring at old images, you are trying to grip the river. You are looking at a shadow and trying to draw warmth from it. The tragedy of our modern lives is that we carry our archives of loss right in our pockets, allowing the ghosts of our past to haunt every new day. Ask yourself, right now, as you stare at those frozen moments, what are you actually longing for? Is it truly the reality of that specific day years ago? Or is it the feeling of certainty, the feeling of being chosen, held, or understood? Pause, breathe, let the screen go dark. Look at the quiet space of your current room. Observe the heavy longing in your chest, but do not feed it another image. Watch the emotion rise, peak, and begin to fade, just like a cloud drifting across a vast sky. You do not have to follow it. You are safe right now, even in the quiet. The past was beautiful, but it is a room you can no longer live inside. And the deeper you look into this pain, the more clearly you will see a profound truth. Because the longing you feel is likely not what you think it is. And this is where the next truth begins. Because beneath every tear shed over missing someone lies a powerful illusion about what they actually provided. What if the person you are desperately crying over is not actually the person you are missing? Here is a difficult truth that most of us spend a lifetime trying to avoid. When a relationship ends, or when a chapter of life softly closes, we convince ourselves that we are mourning a specific human being. We stare at their face in a photograph, trace the outline of their smile, and feel a sharp, agonizing ache in our chest. We tell ourselves that we want them back. We believe our grief is a testament to how deeply we love them. But if you sit quietly with that pain, without judging it, you might discover something entirely different. We often confuse the source of our comfort with the comfort itself. When you were with them, you felt a sense of grounding, You felt a temporary reprieve from the relentless demands of the world. You had a place to rest your tired mind, a predictable routine, and a quiet reassurance that you did not have to face tomorrow alone. You are not necessarily missing the reality of that person, you are missing the profound relief of not having to hold yourself up. One of the deepest lessons of Buddhism is understanding the nature of illusion. We suffer because we project our own deepest needs onto the impermanent world around us. We turn flawed, changing, human beings into permanent symbols of absolute safety. And when they inevitably leave or change, we do not just lose a companion. We feel as though the ground has collapsed beneath our feet. We cling to the memory because it represents a time when the world made sense. Imagine walking to the edge of a dark, still lake at midnight. You look down into the water and see the perfect, luminous reflection of the moon. It is so beautiful and seems so close that you reach your hands into the water to hold it. But the moment your fingers break the surface, the image shatters into 1,000 chaotic ripples. The moon was never in the lake. The water was only reflecting the light from above. The person in your photograph was like the surface of that lake. For a time they reflected a peace, a safety, and a wholeness that you deeply crave. But that light, the capacity to feel anchored, loved, and at rest, was never trapped inside them. It belongs to you. You are reaching into the cold water of the past, trying to grasp a shattered reflection, and wondering why your hands keep coming up empty. Think about your own life. When you feel that sudden, overwhelming pang of missing them, what is truly happening around you? Are you missing the actual reality of your daily life with them, including the friction, the distance, and the quiet resentments? Or are you simply exhausted? Are you feeling overwhelmed by your current circumstances, longing for the familiar shelter they once provided? Ask yourself, are you missing them, or are you missing the comfort of being held? There is no shame in wanting to feel safe. It is a deeply human need, but you must gently begin to untangle the two. Pause, breathe. Let this realization settle into your mind. The comfort you are chasing is not a person. It is a feeling you once allowed yourself to experience. Acknowledge the memory, but remind yourself that the peace was generated by your own heart, feeling at ease. Because once you realize that the safety was never theirs to take away, you begin to realize that you are not powerless. You can cultivate that peace again. But letting go of the illusion is only the beginning, because to find true safety in the present, you must finally stop running. And this is where the deepest challenge lies, because beneath the desire to look backward is a profound fear of standing still. 3. The fear of the present emptiness. What if the silence of the present moment is not your enemy, but the very teacher you have been running from? Here is the truth that makes us so deeply uncomfortable. We do not just crave the past, we are terrified of the present. When a significant chapter of your life closes, it leaves behind a physical and emotional void. The quiet room at the end of the day, the lack of a familiar morning message, the long hours where you once had someone to lean on or somewhere to be. This stillness can feel agonizing. It can feel like a heavy, suffocating weight. And because the mind is terrified of a vacuum, we immediately try to fill it. We reach for the screen. We scroll through old memories. We invite the ghosts of the past into the present simply because we do not want to sit alone with the quiet. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that our fear of emptiness is the root of so much unnecessary suffering. We view an empty space in our lives as a lack, a tragedy, a failure, a state of being deprived of what we once had. We think the quiet means we are abandoned. But in Buddhist thought, emptiness is not a dark void. It is a space of profound, untouched potential. It is the clearing of the ground. The suffering comes not from the emptiness itself, but from our frantic, desperate efforts to cover it up with illusions of what used to be. Imagine a tiny seed resting deep within the cold earth. It is surrounded by absolute crushing darkness. There is no light, no movement, no familiar warmth. To the seed, this silence might feel like an ending. It might feel as though it has been buried and forgotten by the world above. But that quiet, dark emptiness is the exact environment required for the outer shell to break open. The darkness is not a grave. It is a necessary beginning. The seed must sit in the absolute stillness before it can gather the strength to push upward into the light. Your life right now is that quiet earth. When you sit alone, feeling that overwhelming urge to look at an old picture or replay a conversation in your mind, you are fighting the darkness. You are resisting the necessary quiet. You feel the weight of isolation, and you mistake the silence for loneliness. You compare your quiet life to the noise and movement of everyone else, and you feel entirely left behind. Think about your own life. When the house is quiet and you reach for your phone to look at the past, what are you truly avoiding? What are you afraid will happen if you simply sit in the stillness? Is the silence actually hurting you, or is it just bringing you face to face with yourself? Pause, breathe. The next time the urge to look backward overwhelms you, do nothing. Observe the feeling of emptiness without trying to fill it. Let the silence rise without making it your identity. You do not need to fix the quiet. You are not powerless. You do not have to chase echoes to prove that you exist. You can simply be here, right now, in the uncomfortable, fertile dark. Because peace is not something you find by escaping the present. It is something you make space for by accepting it. But true acceptance means facing the hardest law of nature, and this is where the next truth begins. 4. The truth of impermanence. There is a strange kind of freedom in realizing that everything is temporary. But here is the truth we spend our entire lives fighting. Nothing was ever meant to stay exactly as it was. When we stare at old photographs, we are not just looking at memories. We are staging a silent protest against time. We feel a profound sense of injustice that a beautiful moment had to end. We look at the smiling faces, the comfortable routines, the intact relationships, and we ask ourselves why it could not simply last forever. We treat the end of a chapter as a failure, a tragedy, or a mistake. We believe that if something was truly good, it would never have left us. We convince ourselves that the past was a destination we were supposed to stay in permanently. But Buddhism reminds us of a fundamental law of the universe: impermanence. Everything that arises must eventually pass away. Joy, sorrow, relationships, youth, and even the very thoughts you are having right now are all in a constant state of transition. Buddhist wisdom teaches that suffering does not come from the fact that things change. The suffering comes from our desperate demand that they do not. We build our homes on shifting ground and then feel betrayed when the earth moves. We forget that the beauty of a moment is intimately tied to its fragility. Imagine you are standing on a beautiful beach and you scoop up a handful of dry golden sand. As it rests softly in your open palm, it is peaceful and secure. But suddenly, you become terrified of the wind. You become so afraid of losing a single grain that you clench your fist as tightly as you can. The harder you squeeze, the more the sand violently slips through the spaces between your fingers. By trying to force the sand to stay, you are the one pushing it away. This is exactly what we do with our lives and our memories. We try to grip people so tightly that we crush the natural flow of our own lives. We demand that a partner, a friend, or a circumstance remain exactly the same as they were in a photograph taken 5 years ago. We demand that our current life perfectly match the highlight reel of our past. And when the natural winds of change begin to blow, we panic. We squeeze our hands shut, look endlessly at the screen to prove the sand was once there, and wonder why our hearts feel so empty. We are grieving what was always meant to slip away. Think about your own life. What are you still trying to hold on to? with a clenched fist. Is your refusal to let things change actually keeping you safe? Or is it just creating a deep, agonizing tension in your chest? What are you afraid will happen if you simply open your hand, pause, breathe? Do not try to rebuild what time has already dismantled. Observe the transition without trying to stop it. You are not failing because your life has changed. You are simply experiencing the natural rhythm of existence. Let the feeling of loss rise without letting it convince you that the best parts of your life are over. But opening your hand requires more than just accepting change. It requires you to stop placing two completely different lives side by side. And this is where the next truth begins. Because the heaviest burden you carry is not the past itself, but the exhausting habit of comparing it to today. 5. The weight of comparing then and now. What if your current pain is not caused by where you are today, but by how relentlessly you measure it against where you used to be? Here is a profound source of our daily exhaustion. We do not simply remember the past. We weaponize it against our present. We scroll through old photographs and subconsciously construct a brutal side-by-side comparison. We look at an image from 3 years ago, a laughing dinner, a vibrant vacation, a moment of perceived absolute perfection, and we hold it up against a quiet, solitary Tuesday night in our current room. We judge our present reality as lacking. We feel as though we have taken a wrong turn or failed, simply because the current chapter is quiet and the previous one was loud. This endless comparison is what makes the present feel so unbearably heavy. Buddhism reminds us that much of our suffering stems from the mind's relentless habit of judgment. We are deeply conditioned to label the past as good and the present as bad. We create a false duality. We forget that life is not a straight, unbroken line of ascending happiness. One of the deepest lessons of mindfulness is learning to experience the present moment exactly as it is, without laying the ghost of the past over it. When you drop the comparison, the present moment is often just quiet. The sharp pain you feel does not come from the quiet itself. It comes from the contrast you create in your own mind. Imagine a great tree standing in the middle of a deep, silent winter. Its branches are completely bare. The sky above is gray, and the air is painfully cold. If the tree possessed a human mind, it might spend the entire winter comparing its bare branches to the lush, vibrant green leaves it held during the warm summer. If it did, the winter would feel like a constant, agonizing failure. The tree would suffer deeply, believing it was broken. But the tree does not compare. It simply stands in the cold. It pulls its energy inward. It rests. The winter is not a failure of the summer. It is simply winter. When you sit alone, looking at old pictures of a time when your relationship was blooming or your life felt more vibrant, you are forcing your winter to apologize for not being summer. You feel a heavy sense of failure. You feel behind in life. You see the smiling faces on the screen and feel the crushing weight of everything that has changed. But some seasons of life are not meant for blooming. Some seasons are strictly meant for resting, for shedding what is dead, and for standing quietly in the cold while your roots grow deeper into the dark earth. Think about your own life. When you feel that sudden drop in your chest as you look at an old picture, what is the story you are telling yourself? Are you actually in danger in this exact moment? Or are you just suffering because today does not look exactly like yesterday? Is this thought bringing you peace or feeding your fear of falling behind? Pause, breathe, take the past out of the room. Look around you and accept this exact moment without judgment. Do not demand that a quiet day perform like a loud one. Stop measuring your current stillness against a frozen highlight reel. You are not failing. You are simply in a different season. Let the quiet season be quiet, because peace is not found by trying to magically turn winter back into summer. It is found by learning to stand softly in whatever season you are in. But accepting the present requires you to actively reshape how you inhabit it. And this is where the next truth begins. Because you cannot find safety in the present if your mind is always retreating to a sanctuary built of memories. 6. Reclaiming your inner sanctuary. Most people do not realize that the safe space they are seeking in the past was actually built by their own mind. When the present feels cold and chaotic, we instinctively mentally retreat. We look at old photographs and remember the profound sense of safety we felt when we were with that person. We convince ourselves that they were our sanctuary. We believe that their presence, their voice, or their affection was the physical shelter that kept the storms of life at bay. And because they are no longer there, we feel as though our only home has been permanently destroyed. We give them all the credit for our peace. But here is the difficult truth. They were not the sanctuary. They were simply the environment where you finally gave yourself permission to relax. Buddhism teaches us that true refuge can only ever be found within. As long as you rely on external circumstances, a relationship, a perfect routine, or a specific person to provide your inner peace, you will always be at the mercy of a changing world. When you anchor your safety to something outside of yourself, you become a lifelong wanderer, constantly searching for stability in things that are inherently fragile. You suffer deeply because you have handed the responsibility for your own soul's rest to someone else. Imagine a beautiful, quiet room deep inside a grand house. It is warm, peaceful, and entirely yours. For a time, you invited someone else into that room. You handed them the only key, believing they were the reason the room felt so safe. When the season changed and they walked away, they took the key with them. Now, you stand outside, in the freezing rain, looking through the window of the past, staring into your own room. You ache for them to return so that you can finally go back inside. But the house belongs to you. You are the one who built the walls. You are the one who lit the fire. You do not need their key to enter your own sanctuary. You just have to stop standing in the rain of the past. We do this constantly in our daily lives. When the pressures of the world become overwhelming, or the silence of a lonely evening sets in, we panic. We think we need a text message, a familiar face beside us, or the validation of another human being to feel grounded. We look at a photograph to artificially simulate that feeling of being home. We forget that the calm we felt in those captured moments was generated by our own heart, finally deciding to let its guard down. The safety was always yours. Ask yourself, right now, who is currently holding the key to your peace? Are you waiting for a return, a reverse decision, or a shift in the past to finally feel safe in your own life today? What are you afraid will happen if you realize you are the one responsible for your own comfort? Pause, breathe, let the image of the past fade from your mind. Reclaim your space. You are not locked out of your own peace. You do not need anyone else's permission to feel secure. Sit in the quiet and realize that the shelter you are desperately looking for is already inside of you. But taking back your sanctuary is an active choice. It requires you to stop holding on to the heavy bags of yesterday. And this is where the next truth begins. Because you cannot step fully into the present if your hands are still clenched tightly around what has already left. 7. The practice of gentle release. What if the hardest part of letting go is that you are trying much too hard to do it? Here is a truth that goes against everything we are taught about moving on. We believe that letting go requires force. We think it means deleting every photograph, burning the bridges, and wrestling our minds into a state of cold, perfect indifference. When the memory of a person rises in the quiet hours of the night, we panic. We get angry at ourselves for still missing them, or for missing the comfort they represented. We fight the memory, trying to push it back into the dark. but the fight itself is just another form of holding on. By fiercely wrestling with the ghost of the past, you are still keeping it in the room with you. Buddhist wisdom teaches that true non-attachment is never about force. It is not the absence of emotion, nor is it the violent eradication of memory. It is simply the practice of non-resistance. It is allowing a thought to enter your mind without offering it a chair to sit down. Buddhism reminds us that our suffering is not found in the remembering itself. It is found in the gripping. When we fight our own grief, we give it power. When we try to tightly control what we feel, we trap ourselves in a cage of our own design. Imagine holding a thick, rough rope in your bare hands. On the other end of the rope is a heavy anchor resting deep within a fast-moving, powerful river. As the current violently pulls the anchor, the rope drags and burns your hands. You plant your feet, grit your teeth, and pull back with all your might. You believe that the only way to survive the pain is to win the tug-of-war. But the river is infinitely stronger than you are. The pain in your palms is agonizing. The solution is not to pull harder. The solution is simply to open your fingers and drop the rope. The anchor will go where it goes, and your hands will finally begin to heal. We do this with our past every single day. When you lie awake, replaying old conversations, when you stare at photographs trying to decode exactly where the safety disappeared, or when you obsess over how to get that feeling of comfort back, you are pulling on the rope. You are engaging in a desperate, exhausting tug-of-war with a past that is already submerged in the river of time. You think that if you just analyze the memory enough, you can regain control of it. But all you are doing is burning your own hands. Ask yourself, think about your own life. Are you trying to forcefully control a story that has already ended? What are you afraid will happen if you simply drop the rope? Will the past magically change? Or will you just finally find a moment of quiet relief? Pause. Breathe. The next time the urge to look back surfaces, do not fight it. Open your mental hands. Let the feeling rise without making it your identity. Observe the thought without following it down the familiar, painful path. You do not have to battle your memories to be free of them. Do your part, then release the outcome. Let the ghost walk through the room and leave quietly on its own. Because releasing the past is the only way to make your hands available for the present. But opening your hands is only half of the journey. Because once the heavy rope is finally gone, you must face the vast, unwritten space of what comes next. And this is where the next truth begins. 8. Making peace with an unwritten future. What if the anxiety you feel right now is not about what you have lost, but about what you cannot yet see? Here is a truth that is deeply uncomfortable to acknowledge. When we finally drop the heavy rope of the past, the immediate feeling is not always relief. Often, it is a profound, terrifying vulnerability. We look ahead and see nothing but an unwritten future. The past, even if it was flawed or painful, provided certainty. You knew the plot. You knew who was beside you. Now, stepping into tomorrow without the comfort of that familiar relationship or routine feels like stepping into a void. We scroll through old photographs because we secretly prefer the certainty of a finished chapter over the terrifying vastness of an empty page. Buddhism teaches us that our suffering thrives not only in our attachment to the past, but in our desperate desire to control the future. We try to grasp what has not yet arrived just as fiercely as we cling to what has already passed. The illusion of control tells us that if we cannot predict tomorrow, we are not safe today. But Buddhist wisdom reminds us that the future is always unwritten, and peace is only ever found in the present moment. True security is not knowing exactly what will happen. It is trusting your ability to meet whatever arises. Imagine a small wooden boat leaving a familiar harbor at dawn. The harbor was safe, the waters were perfectly still, and the shore, was always comfortably in sight. But to journey forward, the boat must eventually sail into the vast, open ocean. As it moves further out, a heavy morning fog rolls in, completely obscuring the horizon. The captain cannot see the destination. If the captain panics, abandons the wheel, and stares exclusively at the fading harbor behind them, the boat will drift helplessly. But if the captain breathes, feels the wood beneath their feet, and simply navigates the water immediately surrounding the boat, they are safe. The ocean is vast, but the boat only needs to float in the exact patch of water beneath it. Right now, you are sitting in the fog. You look at the empty space in your life, the quiet evenings, the shifted plans, the absence of the person who used to anchor your days, and you panic because you cannot see the shore. You worry about being alone next year. You worry that you will never find that feeling of safety again. You retreat to the photographs of yesterday simply to escape the misty unknown of today. You fear that because your future is currently blank, it will forever remain empty. Ask yourself, think about your own life. Are you truly afraid of the future, or are you just afraid that you will not be strong enough to handle it? Are you exhausting yourself by trying to map out a destination that you cannot even see yet? What would happen if you stopped demanding to see the ending and just focused on the water immediately around you? Pause, breathe. Bring your attention fully back to this exact moment. Feel the quiet of the room. You do not need to figure out the rest of your life tonight. You do not need to know how the story ends to be safe in this exact chapter. Let the fog sit without trying to clear it, because peace is not found by aggressively tearing away the veil of tomorrow. It is found by standing firmly in today. But standing firmly requires a final, profound shift in how you view your own resilience. And this is where the journey softly concludes, because the strength you have been searching for in others has always been waiting quietly inside you. 9. The quiet strength of letting go. When the night is long and the silence of your room feels overwhelmingly heavy, the urge to look backward will inevitably rise again. You will feel that familiar ache, that quiet exhaustion, that deep desire to reach into the glowing screen of your phone and pull a frozen memory back into the living present. But now, you understand what that ache truly is. It is not a command to break your own heart by comparing today to yesterday. It is simply your mind asking for a safe place to rest. You have spent so much time believing that your safety was tied to a specific person, a specific time, or a specific photograph. You convinced yourself that when they walked away, or when that chapter softly closed, your comfort left with them. But the profound truth of this journey is that the comfort was always yours. The warmth you felt was generated by your own heart. The sanctuary you rested in was constructed by your own mind. You only used them as the mirror to finally see your own peace. Buddhism reminds us that the highest form of strength is not the ability to force the world to stay exactly as it is. It is the quiet, gentle capacity to let things change. It is the courage to open your clenched hands and let the river flow, trusting that you do not need to hold onto the water to survive. Non-attachment is not about becoming cold, and it is not about forgetting the beauty of what was. It is simply about honoring the past without demanding that it become your present. Imagine sitting in a quiet, dark room, holding a single, unlit candle. For a long time, you relied on someone else to bring the fire. When they were there, the room was warm, bright, and familiar. When they left, you believed you were permanently condemned to the dark. You sat in the cold, staring at old pictures of the light, weeping for its return. But the candle is still in your hands. You have always had the ability to strike the match. The fire was never theirs to take away. You do not need to wait in the dark anymore. Think about your own life. Think about the profound resilience it has taken simply to arrive at this very moment. You are sitting here. You are breathing. The storm of change has passed over you, And while the landscape of your life looks different, you are still standing. You survived the ending. You survived the emptiness. You are surviving the unwritten future. Stop fighting the present moment. Stop demanding that the ghost of yesterday solve the quiet of today. Let the memory be exactly what it is, a beautiful leaf floating down a moving river. You can look at it with gratitude, and then you can gracefully let it pass out of sight. You are not abandoning them by letting go. You are finally returning to yourself. Pause. Breathe. Look at the space you are in right now and realize that you are already safe. If these lessons touched your heart, share this video with someone who may need a little more peace today. You can let go now.